This will probably be the final video that I do on this subject matter until further major developments. I believe you all are already exhausted. I've said everything that I could possibly say. Yes, I'll appear on other shows on Blaze and we'll chime in there. But as far as my individual pages are concerned, I just want to leave you all with this, and I'll go focus back on the escapism stuff that you guys enjoy. I will admit, I'll acknowledge that even I underestimated just how bad things were as far as the cultural rot. America is suffering from its complete lack of decency. Did I know and assume that there will be people out there that would cheer on the death, assassination, the murder of Charlie Kirk? Yes, because there's bad people out there, and I assume that they would exist. But I underestimated the sheer amount of people that had absolutely no problem going to their pages, real names, utilizing that, recording themselves on video, posting, celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Now, most of them can't actually tell you what Charlie Kirk did to where they think it's justified that he be murdered. Of course not. They just were told to dislike this guy, and therefore they're laughing, they're giggling, they're celebrating. Previous videos I talked about, as I've talked about for almost 15 years now, and how these folks want you dead. And this is one of the more blatant examples of it because, well, as many have acknowledged, Charlie Kirk was fairly moderate. Wasn't even that rough around the edges. There are far others like myself. Invited, engaged in debate respectfully, though even if you disagreed with them, didn't really take exception to it, remained respectful. This includes me as well. But you have people celebrating. You've watched folks in entertainment, producers, game developers, who are cheering this on. It runs very deep. Teachers, it's bad. Now, I assume that they were there, but the fact that people are bragging about it and that says a whole different thing. You know, there's a lot you have to process when you record a video, especially if it's not in one take. These guys are doing edited content. So they had plenty of time for that reflection to say, maybe I should not do this. Before they uploaded it, entered in all the descriptions, tags, all of that good stuff. And they still decided, well, we're going to post this. And they are celebrating. These are evil people. And we are not doing ourselves any favors by pretending that that isn't the case. You know, and I'm repeating myself, but as Hans Hermann Hoppe had spoke about the social order and how there are folks that have to be physically removed if that social order is to be maintained as it was intended. And people took that as harsh, as if you were going to impede upon people's liberty, when no, that's not what was being said. It's the reality of the situation. And America is at this sort of cultural crossroads here. And they're running into this realization. You're seeing videos come out with people seeing their family members and it just kind of pilling them. And they'll be like, wait a minute, maybe they are the baddies. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be extremely difficult to live with people like that who advocate things that are antithetical to liberty. Everybody knows it's one thing to disagree with someone. You can disagree with someone all day long. I did, even with Charlie. But to wish for his death, advocate for his death, like murder it, that's what we're talking about. Not an old man that died of like natural causes. No. Not someone that was like in charge of some massive regime that went around committing violence against peaceful people. No. That's not who Charlie Kirk was. They're talking about a civilian, did a lot in terms of organizing with TPUSA at a very young age. And not to say that they weren't politically active. Obviously they were. But he himself is not a politician. You got a guy that just, when the camera was in front of him, he was eloquent. Whether you agreed or disagreed with him on a political issue, didn't matter. You can't deny that. And he said some things that you didn't like. Now you have people dancing and giddy, even going as far as to say that other people are next. If you are celebrating this and you don't have the decency to just acknowledge that this is messed up, you're evil. And this is a father leaving behind 2 children, leaving behind a wife, a husband. This is what Charlie was. And now those children, that wife, has to, they know that there's this video that exists of their husband or father being brutally murdered. And you celebrate that because he had political opinions that you didn't agree with. I don't care about how much you speak about unity and coexistence and all that. You are the bad person here. And that's subjective. And I know your morality, you think of it as subjective, which is how you're able to justify all of your bad behavior. Whatever is advantageous to you at the time is the position that you will take. As long as you can demonize these people and bad things happen, you just essentially say they had it coming. You don't even have decency. And that's what America has lost. And people are seeing that. This cannot continue in the trajectory that it is and how it has gone. It can't. You're saying that what you believe in is fundamentally antithetical and culturally incompatible with everybody else that values liberty. If you believe that it is justified to murder someone because they had political positions that you didn't agree with. They didn't use aggression upon anybody. They just advocated political positions that you didn't agree with. And then, guys, I'm saying this as someone that obviously has disagreed with many of people in the past. It's not like there's a million ANCAPs out there running around. There's going to be folks that I disagree with all the time. Would never wish death upon them. And I especially wouldn't wish death upon them in that way where it's in front of their children. You're not the good guys in this equation, in this scenario, in this story. You're not. I have seen, and I'll leave on this note, I have seen those that have started to, this was a moment where they realized, wow, the people that they have been supporting and surrounding themselves with, they're crazy. And they're waking up. What they do with that information, no idea. I'm not saying they're going to become some sort of liberty-minded person, but that is a massive wake-up call. So if nothing else, you told on yourself. But make no mistake, you're not the good guys.